During this transformative journey, you may find yourself, as I did, just another mouse in the maze. We will cast profound doubts on the credibility of the accepted scientific narrative, revealing the true model of our world. Our goal is to challenge and overturn the conventional view that complex, conscious life emerged solely by random chance within an evolutionary framework. We will explore our discussions absent of religious concepts, ensuring that our conversations remain secular, inclusive, and accessible to all readers, including those who might reject or prefer to avoid religious themes. Ultimately, if a secular, naturalistic, and scientific narrative becomes implausible, a narrative based on intelligent design and creative origins emerges as the obvious alternative. We will soon discover that at the core of our complex existence lies irrefutable evidence of an intelligent and creative force. This force, however, has been persistently skewed, contorted, and most alarmingly concealed by an enigmatic entity intent on shaping the vast array of fallacious realities and doctrines we universally accept today. We are now on the brink of the unsettling discovery that, in modern times, we have been entangled in an expansive and intricately orchestrated psychological operation. The elusive entity of our discussion has precisely crafted an all-encompassing facade, effectively veiling the essential truths about our universe, our origins, and our ultimate purpose. The scale of this charade is deeply unsettling, extending far beyond the control and oversight of our governmental institutions. We will find that science fiction extends far beyond a mere genre of Hollywood, and now becomes our present reality. Prepare for a new reality, where the unimaginable becomes evident, the magnificent design of our true world is revealed, and the intricate facade we have been indoctrinated to believe collapses like a house of cards. We will unveil the deceptive cloak that obscures the array of hidden truths lying beyond our constructed realities. This meticulously crafted and fiercely protected deceit aims to subvert and conceal the evidence of a creative force behind our origin, reducing us to mere accidents of nature and random products of evolution's slow dance through time. Prepare to challenge your core beliefs and summon the courage to question your current understanding of the world.
Close your eyes.
Another great flat Earth observation from BMLSB69, which you can find here. For this test, BMLSB69 was located here. According to Google Earth, the altitude at that location is about 66 feet, and we'll add 4 feet for the observer, giving us an observation height of 70 feet. The targets for the observation were the Anacapa Arch and the Anacapa Lighthouse, which were both at a distance of about 33 miles. And yes, the 33 is just a mere coincidence. According to the globe model numbers, the distance to the globe geometric horizon would have to be closer than 10.2 miles, and the globe curvature should block 345 feet. Here are the same numbers in metric. Let's see if the globe matches reality. As you can see with your own eyes, you can see the entire lighthouse. The lighthouse has a focal height of only 277 feet. In other words, the top of the lighthouse should be nearly 68 feet below the horizon. But even worse for the globe, the Anacapa Arch here is only around 40 feet high, but you can see the entire arch. If we adjust the contrast and coloring, it looks like we can even see water behind the arch, which means a globe defender cannot even claim an inch as being blocked by the globe curvature. Another black swan. It's not as big as the last observation I shared of BMLSB69, which I labeled as the #1 flat Earth observation, where BMLSB69 was only 1.5 feet off of the water at a distance of 31.8 miles. The globe fails. Of course, globe proponents will simply call it a mirage with disappearing bulges of curvature.
And what you're seeing here is a mirage.
That reminded me of something, of a claim I once heard from Bugs Bunny when I was a child.
The car! Boy, what a break! What a spot to pick for a mirage.
I find it hilarious that globe proponents are as ridiculous as Bugs Bunny was. Have a good day.
And what you're seeing here is a
Mirage.
A group of local college students suddenly find themselves world record holders.
And the rocket the USC Rocket Propulsion Laboratory said is truly out of this world. They say that the rocket, Aftershock 2, has officially become the highest and fastest amateur rocket of all time. They shared the feed on Instagram. The launch was conducted last month after analyzing data from the onboard avionics unit. It was confirmed that this weekend that the rocket reached a maximum altitude over 470,000 feet. It also reached a maximum speed of over 5,200 feet per second, or Mach 5.5.
The horizon always appears perfectly flat, 360 degrees around the observer, regardless of altitude. All amateur balloon, rocket, plane, and drone footage show a completely flat horizon over 20 plus miles high. Only NASA and other government space agencies show curvature in their fake CGI photos and videos.
95% of all telephone and data is transferred over submarine cables.
Not satellite.
Not satellite.
Phone calls, banking, web surfing, email, streaming video, and other communication.
Heavy case.
And it all began 150 years ago.
We have here samples of the early cables from the 1850s.
Some of the items have not been on display in more than a century.
With this cable now, it was what, minutes?
Yeah, that's right.
It sounds like this was the original information age.
That's right.
If you've ever phoned or emailed someone on another continent, you can dial up some gratitude for something that happened a century and a half ago.
It's been 150 years since the first transatlantic cable began ushering in global communications. And now tech giants are taking that undersea revolution a big step further.
This is how worldwide communication begins.
Not satellite. Not satellite.
Have y'all been to space? Have you been to space? Go to space.
Getting dunked on for being earth poor and not being able to afford to go to space is in fact a new level of let them eat cake. I saw people saying, oh, what Katy Perry said was the new let them eat cake. No. This is the new let them eat cake. I even love the face expression. This is the let them eat cake face expression. I mean, have you even been to space? Gail, I've never even been to Washington State, and I'm American. This let them eat cake. Because what I can't stomach, and I don't think a lot of other people can stomach it anymore either, are these oligarchs and one percenters trying to rebrand their greed as doing something altruistic or good for humanity. Like, we are done with the fake philanthropist era of the billionaire class. Because at one point she's like, we're doing this for humanity. No, you're not.
That's 100 men. What would you do if your beautiful date told you the earth was flat?
Laugh at her.
Laugh at her.
Tell her she lying.
Tell her she lying. Pass the point.
We're playing.
Let's play. All right, Sarah. We talked to 100 men. What would you do if your beautiful date told you the earth was flat?
I hope he'd agree with me.
Agree with her? I would. I just met you. We're on a date. You fine. You tell me the earth flat. That's cool. I agree. Yeah.
All the astronauts were found that died on the Challenger with brothers, okay? Two of them had
twin brothers.
Twin brothers. I don't know how many twins that you know, but like it's ironic.
What are the odds that two guys that are going on a space shuttle at the same time
are both twins?
Yeah, twin brothers. It's like
and Judith.
Yeah, Judith Resnick or something like that.
And did you see the interview where they find her? She's a professor, and they try to interview her, and she just walks away. Like, why are you so violent to the response? Why wouldn't you just be like, look? I know I look like her. It's kind of funny.
Dick Scobie, the captain guy, he's like, clearly is the same guy. That guy looks exactly the same. And does he have that weird company with the logo?
Cows with trees, and it's got the spiral.
Yeah, it could either look like perhaps the way that the Challenger blew up, like the smoke trail it left. It also kind of looks like 3 6s is what it looks like. You know, the funny part is like when people try to debunk that, they're like, well, this guy's not this guy. And I'm like thinking like, if one person is alive, it doesn't matter if they're all the same. If one of them is alive, then the whole thing is a lie. You don't need every one of them to be correct. Maybe one of them is a different person. If one of them's correct, the whole thing is a lie.
Architect of 20 years, member of the American Institute of Architects, and have been studying steel-framed, fireproof buildings for about that long.
We ask that for clarification because as we get into this, we want people to make sure that you're not just somebody with a wacky idea.
Right.
Okay, you come with some science to you. What is the official reason for the collapse of the World Trade Center towers?
Well, we're told that the planes hit the buildings and there was an explosion and a fire, and about an hour and a half later, in the case of the North Tower, the buildings collapsed due to structural weakening due to the fires. The problem is that we don't have large gradual deformations associated with collapses, and fires in high-rises have never brought down a steel frame high-rise building at all, ever. And what we have, unfortunately, is the evidence in the Twin Towers and the third skyscraper to collapse that day, which most people don't know anything about it. We have the evidence of the 10 key features of controlled demolition. In the case of Building 7, it collapses straight down into its own footprint at free fall speed in the first 100 feet. It's dropping, as you can see, symmetrically, smoothly, at free fall speed in the first 100 feet, 2.5 seconds. This is uncanny. There's 40,000 tons of structural steel designed to resist this collapse.
Is it, what, a 47-story building?
Yeah, this is called Building 7, right? A football field away from the Twin Towers.
Okay, so what we're showing is left what happened. In fact, right is a controlled where you are using, or the people who made this happen, used demolition.
Indeed, and this is a direct comparison. And you can see that, indeed, almost free fall speed, free fall acceleration through 40,000 tons of structural steel. That is uncanny. So we have 700 architects and engineers demanding a new investigation as a result of this evidence and the evidence in the World Trade Center. That is very explosive. Almost every architect and engineer we show this information to agrees with us that these are controlled demolitions. If we can get them to look at the information, because obviously the implications of a controlled demolition are dark for our country, because that means somebody besides Al-Qaeda was involved, because these have to be easily 3 of the most highly secure buildings outside the Pentagon.
Guess what? Probably everybody already has seen the evidence that this recent space voyage wasn't real. If you haven't, look up Katy Perry fake. And I'm also wondering how many people have put together that this trip up here was about as real as this trip down here. One more thing that I was thinking about is, why did they have to make a big deal about saying that they saw the curvature of the Earth? That's actually the only thing of substance they said while they were up there. Why did they pull a fake hoax just to say that? Kind of strange.
Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God, what is that?
As in my previous video, I have the distance between the windows. Jeff Bezos trips and he takes 2 steps and then he trips. And so that means he had, he's a man much bigger than these women. He had to take a couple steps to get from window 1 to window 2. But in the interior video shots, one of those tiny women occupy the space between the windows. So the math isn't mathing there. And then something that I just caught watching a video, or several videos, is when they're loading, the door has hardware and bolts that aren't in the landing video. So here's a picture of the door, and I put it right here. And you could see the frame of the entrance has 2 bolts, one in the, let's just say like the 10 o'clock and the 2 o'clock, or 11 and 1, but just up above the corners of the doors. They're not in, those bolts are not in the landing. And then also there's hardware on the left and right side of the doors that I don't see a relationship in the door that they're opening. So it's almost as if those are 2 different ships. I'm truly not a conspiracy theorist, but I am I do have questions here. Yeah, I do.
Now I'm floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. I heard my
Have you all been to space? Have you been to No, we haven't been to space, Gail, because we don't have a friend who's dating Jeff Bezos. Okay, we don't have a friend who's dating the guy who owns the rocket ship. She actually calls herself an astronaut. Gail, you can call yourself an astronaut in the same sense that my 8-year-old son can call himself an architect because he builds stuff with Legos. Gail King comparing herself to Alan Shepard, it's like making a phone call in the year 2025 and then comparing yourself to Alexander Graham Bell. It's like saying, hey, when I made a phone call, I did exactly the same thing that Alexander Graham Bell did in 1876. Anyone who denies my achievement is sexist. Oh, sure, when that man, Alexander Graham Bell, when he makes a phone call, you guys act like it's a big deal. But when I do it, nobody cares. Sexism is alive and well.
That's how I feel every time I send a text message. Like, people don't appreciate what I'm doing. And it is because of sexism and because they don't see that I am exactly like Alexander Graham Bell. But here's my bone to pick with Matt Walsh. We have a long running beef on the topic of NASA and moon landings because he thinks they happened. And listen, when the guys did it, it was fake and gay. I'm sorry, Matt, and it's time for you to admit it. It was just as bad. You just weren't alive for it, okay? Homies were on the moon making phone calls before the time of cell phones, like, hey, what's up, Prez? It's me on the moon with the flag. No issues. First time we've ever flown this thing. Yeah, I don't know. We just got through the belt pretty easily. And until Matt Walsh accepts that the mission in 69 was also fake and gay, I don't care. I can't defend you. Even if I fully agree with you about Gayle King, I literally cannot defend you. Okay, you must come to terms with the fact that NASA and space missions have always been this fake and gay. You just weren't alive for the original ones, and you need to learn the history of NASA, of the Apollo programs, which were occult and satanic. It was literally meant to be an antichrist movement to make people believe in man. It's a fact. I'm going to show you guys. It's like, you can look this up anywhere. Look up Jack Parsons and the Apollo program. They just wanted people to believe in scientific advancement. The guy who created the Apollo program was this guy, Jack Parsons. Can you pull up this clip, Skylar? You know, this is from a podcast, the Science History Institute Museum and Library. This is one of their podcasts, and you scroll down here, and you, again, are probably gonna have to make this bigger for my eyes, but at the top here, you know, Jack Parsons was a brilliant rocket scientist, but he lived a wild lifestyle with a devil may care attitude. He was pretty relaxed about safety and dabbled in drugs, occult practices, and sex cult rituals. It would all eventually catch up with him, though, and quite literally, they were throwing these sex rituals, and he believed that he had summoned the devil, and the devil told him that he needed to create a moon child. Next thing you know, they're telling us we made it to the moon. I mean, you got to look into Jack Parsons and the origin of NASA. I'm telling you, space has always been exceedingly fake and gay. It was fake and gay when the men did it, and it's now fake and gay because the women did it. So go back and watch our NASA episode to learn more about the establishment of the Apollo program and why it's always been occult and satanic and about devil worship and about the Antichrist. It's just undeniable. It's like a part of history that's just real. So I'm challenging you, Matt Walsh, once again, until you say, Candace, you were right. Space is not real. I'm just a guy and grew up with little astronaut figurines, and I can't let it go because the little boy in me doesn't want to say no.
Kill the programming.
Let's all watch some cartoons. Look at this one. These are also cartoons. These two. We all love cartoons. Cartoons in the real sky. Cartoons. You probably think these are real, right? You really believe this shit? This one you learned at school. You are a bunch of cartoon believers. Cartoons, cartoons, cartoons. This is a cartoon.
This too! Sorry. It's animation, you moron!
Animation.
Look at this! Didn't you know cartoons aren't real? Y'all watch cartoons and believe them all! It's not funny anymore. We all live in a cartoon reality. And you don't even know it.
If you didn't know any better, you would think you lived on level ground. That's how you perceive the world. Every day of your life. Still, you believe different. Contrary to what your senses tell you, you believe living on this. We all came from nothing, by a giant explosion. How can you actually know this? Only by consuming information. In various ways. What if you didn't? Imagine being completely free to discover everything for yourself. This whole wide realm and beyond. From whenever you want. To feel the magic. Think about it. If you never believed in these cartoons, would you ever believe this? And this? Probably not. They can make you believe anything, including the scary things. They can maintain your fear through TV. This can go incredibly far. What if you can break free from it? With an incredible amount of joy. You would find out where we are, who we are, and what can be experienced here. All of us. They couldn't sell you this shit anymore. This fear would vanish. Overnight. And the inventors of this shit show would be eliminated permanently.
still for a second. You're not moving. You're not spinning around an axis at 1,000 miles per hour, rotating around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour, spiraling around the galaxy at 500,000 miles per hour, and shooting off from a Big Bang at 67 million miles per hour. You're not. You're motionless. You're just sitting there. Just sit still. Nobody's ever seen the Earth curve. Maybe you just got fooled. You can't possibly believe that you and the rest of the world could have been lied to and deceived. Not you, right? They couldn't fool you. Of course you're spinning around. That's what they told you in school. They don't lie to you in school. It's just the shape of the Earth. What does that matter? If you think of it on that level, then sure, it seems insignificant and it seems like it could be a waste of time, even if it was true. And you think of it as being the most fundamental lie is where we are, what we're doing here, the Earth beneath our feet, the lights in the sky above us, as well as the Big Bang and evolution and the way that we supposedly got here and the purpose we may or may not have. It becomes a big deal. And when you look at the potential for a truth that has been suppressed for 500 years now, the flat Earth truth, if that gets out, then it is shown that every government, every university, every pundit, every television station is lying knowingly. The kind of restructuring of society and the system that truthers are looking for, that people know we need, is what can happen, and what will happen, and what must happen if this truth gets out. Because this is huge. It is the truth. The Earth is flat, just like it appears on the horizon. The Earth is motionless, just as you feel motionless. Everything in the sky revolves around us. Everything that your senses tell you is what's happening. But you've been fed a false system. You've been shown CGI images with a ball Earth with a horizon that curves. You've been shown more CGI images with a ball Earth that spins. You've been shown planets that spin like billiard balls around each other. You've been shown all these things in CGI format, but you've never seen it for yourself. You've just been lied to and shown pictures, and you believe those. It's not science. Science, in fact, shows that the Earth is flat and motionless. But you haven't been taught them in school because they don't want you to be taught that in school. They show you a spinning globe on your first day and tell you that gravity keeps water and buildings and people stuck to the bottom of that thing. And they repeat it until you believe it, your parents believe it, your grandparents believe it. 500 years ago, people were believing it. It's like holding a balloon underwater. When you let go, that thing's just gonna rush to the surface. The water's gonna go flying. And that's what we need. It's exactly what we need.